So Jim Stengel, thanks for joining me again. And actually today we're going to be talking about your book that's just out called Grow: How Ideals Power Growth and Profit at the World's Greatest Companies. So I guess what I wanted to start with is asking you a little bit about sort of what went into this book. And I understand it was 10 years of research.
Well, about 3 years ago when I left P&G, I had this idea that business, kind of the story, the narrative, the behavior of business really had to change. So I really wanted to tell a story, but I didn't want it to be my own personal anecdote. I really wanted it to be backed by a study, and then I wanted to go inside about a dozen companies very, very deeply. So I had this hypothesis that business was changing and needed to change and needed to accelerate. And so I reached out to Millward Brown Optimer. We fielded a study using their wonderful Brandsy database. We cut it over 10 years for growth in consumer bonding and growth in financial value creation. So we started with our 50,000 brands. We drew the line at 50. And then I had my team at UCLA Anderson as well as Millward Brown crawl all over those 50 brands, and we went out and visited a dozen of them and took a video camera in, and we didn't talk to the CEO, we talked to the people in the middle. And I sort of was looking for, are there common themes, patterns, behaviors? And actually what I did find was there was sort of a similar activity system in these companies, and I'd put that in the metaphor of a tree in the book. So it's been a 3-year journey. I have visited hundreds of people. I've talked to probably 1,500 people. My acknowledgments in the book are 12 pages long, and there is a movement in the world right now, and I want to be part of that. I want to be a catalyst, and business is not seen very favorably these days, and I think we need to change that.
So the case you make in the book is that the secret to sustainable growth is one thing, it's having ideals. Let's have you define, if you will, what you mean by ideals, brand ideals.
It's a very simple and a very powerful concept, and this is at the heart of every business, every brand, is a reason you exist, a higher ideal, the mission in the world, the impact you're trying to make in the world. And this can be hugely, hugely powerful, like IBM's, or it can be something a bit more joyful, like Jack Daniel's. But every business, if they find why they're here, and they define that, and that's not easy to do at times, but then once you do that, once you articulate it, once you share it with people, once you validate it, the magic in leadership is activating that in the entire business system. It's not a marketing slogan, it's not an ad campaign, it's why you are here. And what I found in these businesses that articulate that and then drive it through everything they do, the innovation systems, the HR systems, the product supply systems, the marketing systems, the agency systems, that's when they have coherence, which to me is a major theme in this book, and that's when they have remarkable growth. So it's certainly it has to be articulated, but the more powerful thing is how it's activated. And that's really what the book is about. It's lots of stories of leaders doing.
What would you say is the biggest surprise that came out of this process for you of writing this book?
Oh, I think the biggest surprise to me was how work was enjoyable in these companies I visited. You know, that after I visited like 6 or 7, I kept thinking, I feel great coming out of there. I'm uplifted. So it's almost like work was enjoyment. You know, and obviously Zappos talks about that, and I did go visit them. But even in companies like IBM, you know, Method, of course, Lint, you know.
How could you not be happy?
I know, happy and maybe a little chubby. But work is enjoyment, and work is joy. To me, that was the biggest surprise. I didn't go in looking for that, but I certainly felt it, and I felt it when I came out. And that's wonderful. Who doesn't want to work for a company where work is enjoyment?
Sure. What can we expect to see moving forward now as we head into, you know, certainly this year and then years to come?
Well, the book is just out, and my goal in this book is to create conversations and energy and to be a catalyst, you know, like others in this movement to lift business up so that we perform better, that we make a bigger difference, that employees are happier, customers are happy, and the businesses that do adopt this grow. So my whole goal is to, and I have a Facebook platform I'm launching with this, is to bring people in, tell me your story, give me, you know, what you want to do. And if we can get hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands maybe of people where they're moved by this, they want to do it. I mean, the title of my last chapter is, you know, start now, start big, start small, but start now. And I would love to see that flourish. To me, that would mean even more than the sales of the book, that this has been a success.